Patton. Very good to have you on here, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
We got through the technical difficulties and we're here now.
I set up my microphone, and now we both have SM7.
Well, we're just professional guys, and I think that that's pretty clear through the microphones and the white t-shirts, for that matter.
So true.
We did coordinate this, and I'm glad we did. It looks good. Very
Yeah,
professional.
wish I had that ceiling fan you have. About 8 degrees here.
Now, you mentioned before we started recording here that you had moved. You moved to a new space. Now, this place does not have a ceiling fan.
No ceiling fan in here. This room is the room I got for doing music stuff. There's no windows and no fan,
No
which,
windows, no fan, no problem.
people sometimes wonder why, like, the Mormons settled in Salt Lake Valley because it's not that arable of land, or it's not very easy to grow things. It's sort of dry, high altitude, very harsh winters and stuff. Um, the reason that I understand of why the Mormons settled there was because it was decent enough to live there to make it by, but it was shitty enough that no one was fighting for it. And that's kind of what this office space is. Well, I feel like people should see the room now. So I am going to remove my
Wow, I'm excited for this.
I'm gonna remove my Futurama background. There it is. Hey, it actually looks kind of good.
Looks really good,
Yeah.
but there's no not a window in there.
Well, that's what I mean. If there had been a window, I could see there would have been a more of a, it wouldn't have been as easy to let me have it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Solid Valley.
No, yeah, it's difficult to find any kind of room to do any sort of music in New York, right? It's kind of an issue.
Yeah, I haven't had I mean, the last 2 years I've been here in the city, I've just had my bedroom, which I've been able to kind of play in and stuff, but all of my life before that, I lived in the country. Like where I lived upstate in a really rural, like 6 bedroom house with a bunch of other dudes. My room was in a basement that was so big, I had a stand-up piano inside.
Was it difficult to get the piano in there, I'm assuming?
I had to have some help. Yeah.
Yeah.
To go, we used to tour, the Nude Party used to tour in a shuttle bus with a big handicap lift on it that
Oh,
mostly was just a super hassle and sucked to have. But when it came to getting a piano, I my grandmother had died, and her whole like house and everything was kind of getting liquidated, and I was always really attached to her piano. So I was able to take the shuttle bus down to Louisiana, get the piano, load it in on the handicap lift, drive it to upstate New York, and load it into my basement room up there.
and do you still have this piano?
It's still in that room. I moved out. I get anxious sometimes that whoever lives there might be like, "Hey, come deal with this," and I won't know what to do with it because I'm like attached to it. My grandma's piano, it means a lot to me, but also it's his house. I mean, I worry, but he hasn't said anything about it.
I got a feeling that the piano is going to be fine. How difficult was the drive from upstate New York to Louisiana to get this?
Well, we had been on a tour when we used to drive that shuttle bus around, and we bought it for like $3,000 or something, and then it continuously broke down on tours, especially in the mountains. And it broke down outside of Seattle. It broke down right outside that Twin Peaks diner in
Ooh,
right outside
very, very eerie, very eerie.
very eerie. And we're all like just bummed out, step out and like realize that we're like 60 feet from the diner from Twin Peaks. So we all went in and had coffee and pie. It was really strange.
You got to
Um,
do it. You got to do it.
broke down a number of times, and the last time that it broke down, one of the last times was right outside Valdosta, Georgia.
Huh.
Central, hot, flat Air Force Base, Georgia. And it broke down. We were on our way to a show in Atlanta opening for that band White Reaper.
Mm.
And it breaks down. We're on the side of the road. It's blowing white smoke. It does this a few times. We think it's a head gasket, but we've come to learn it's not a head gasket. It's something called an AGR valve, which is just a really expensive fix that keeps blowing up and just fucking up our tours. And it happened again in Georgia. So we're all on the side of the road, frantically trying to figure out how to still get to Atlanta, but we're a seven-piece band plus tour manager. So there's eight of us, so eight people worth of gear. We're trying to figure out if there's rental cars, rent two minivans, or anything like that to get to Atlanta to play the show. And we're outside Valdosta where there's just nothing. So we're like exhausting every possibility. People are kind of getting mad at each other for no reason because it's hot and everything's sucking and everyone's pissed. They know that all whatever money we were gonna make is gonna go back into this stupid
For the
fucking eight
valve.
valve that we bought four of at this point.
Oh
And
wow.
this was the last one. But so we called an Uber just to get some of us to it was like we called an Uber just to get some of us to some other town to I don't even know what, but we'd basically given up on the show because we were going to be at that point it was just sort of too late. And this lady pulled up, this really sweet Georgian woman, maybe 35, and I had a uh, Georgia Theater T-shirt on from Athens, Georgia, the club there, and she was like, "Oh, Georgia Theater, like I've played there before." And we were like, "Oh, you play music?" She was like, "Yeah." We're like, Rick Poss, the booking guy, and she was like, "Oh, I love Rick Poss. He's my friend." We were like, "No way, we have mutual friends." She's like, "Well, what's the deal?" And we're like, "We're supposed to play in Atlanta, but you know, it's not. It's like 5 hours away still, and we're gonna be so late, and so we're just, I don't know what we're gonna." She was like, "Well, I'm not busy. I'll take y'all to Atlanta." And we were like, "No way, that's so far." And she was like, "If y'all can get in with just some of your instruments." So we just left pretty much all of our clothes, all of our amps, and everything behind and got in this lady's car with just some guitars, no toothbrushes or anything. And she drove us 5 hours to Atlanta. We got to the club, and the first band had just finished their set. So we were supposed to be on stage to play right at that moment. And the stage was just empty, and the whole crowd was like a full house. And people weren't sure if we were coming or not. And we just arrived, got out of the car, and just walked straight onto stage just with guitars and just plugged into whatever amps White Reaper at just whatever White Reaper setup was. We just completely used it. Uh, I don't even know why I started telling that story, but it was
No, I
great.
love it. That's great. That's a great story. Now, how many of you actually made it to the gig?
All of us,
All of you guys piled into this lady's car.
eight of us in a minivan,
Oh, okay.
5 hours with like on each other's laps with guitars on laps, very
Oh,
comfortable.
yeah.
Um, and we did it. It
Were you
was
doing this with cases or no cases on the guitars?
cases.
Cases. Okay. Now, how did you return back to the van?
I think we drew straws, and which this actually happened a few times. We drew straws, and the two that lost had to. I think they had to fly back to Valdosta that night, get a minivan, I think they had to rent a minivan, go back to Valdosta, fill the minivan with everyone's gear and like the essential stuff we still left a lot behind, and then take that minivan. Well, she actually drove us to the next show too. She hung out with us and she stayed the night with us. And so the people that went back had to meet us in Charlotte, North Carolina at Amos Southern. I remember it, or Amos South End in Charlotte. And I remember that day because it was a weird day. Our bass player's mom is a doctor, and she was like, "Everyone needs to get their flu shots today." So I'm like getting my flu shot in the green room when they arrived with all the catfish, and the tour manager at the time arrived with all the gear and all the amps just like didn't even stop to pee for like 9 hours back and forth.
There's a lot going on that day. Flu shots, get retrieving all the stuff. Now, did they ever have to replace the AGR? You said right, the AGR valve.
Here's the crazy thing. They I did get it towed to a guy that would fix it. He had like a some weird shop. It wasn't like a Ford guy. He fixed it. We finished the tour with a rental, like a minivan, and then we got home back to New York, and the van was still in Georgia. But I needed to go to New Orleans because that's where my family's from, and we were having Christmas. So I was like, "Oh, I'll volunteer. Like, I'll fly down to Valdosta. I'll get the van. I'll take it to New Orleans do Christmas. Then I'll pick up the piano." And after I picked up the piano, I was driving back to Florida, and my friend sells music gear in Florida. Like, he gets cool vintage stuff and sells it online, but we're really good friends, and sometimes he'll be like, "Hey, do you want this? I'll give it to you like, a 1965 Gibson acoustic for $600." And I'm like,
Kind of steep, yeah.
"I want that. That's a great." So I met him. I took the van, me and my brother, driving back up to New York for New Year's Eve in the van, go through Jacksonville, buy this guitar, and I stayed at my friend's house there. And we hung out, and at the end, she was like, "Do you want any weed?" And I was like, like, is how crazy are they about weed in Georgia? Because I got to drive all the way across Georgia tomorrow. And she was like, "They can be real dickheads about it. Like, they're not chill." And I was like, "Well, I'll take a little. Yeah, okay, yeah." So I
Yeah.
took with me. So
I'm
when
sorry. How much? How much was that?
I would say like, well, it was like a vape pen, which they treat real serious because I don't know, they're fucking draconian, and like a gram or something. And I got in the van. I got a little bit scared because I really get scared of the police. They're like, I feel like the way that I feel when I see a cop car on the highway is the way that a fish feels when it sees a shark.
Mm.
But I mean, it's just like that is my natural predator is a state highway patrol.
Now this band's outside of all. I mean, it doesn't matter which county or what city or what state you're in. Each
Some
each of them.
some are worse. Utah's the worst. Georgia's up there. Virginia's pretty bad. Um, I mean, there's some dickheads in New York. I don't know. I don't want to speak ill widely of all police, but I've had a lot of bad experiences with state troopers, especially.
In different parts of the country.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
so you got your fix. You went to your dealer. You got your stuff, and then what happened?
I'm driving across Georgia the next day. Well, my brother's driving. I'm just sitting kind of next to him playing that new guitar I got, and a state trooper pulls up behind us and pulls us over on the side of the road. And they go and we're trying to. I'm a little bit worried because when we dropped the van off during the tour, everyone just left in a hurry. I have no idea what anyone left in there. You know, like I don't know if anyone left their Adderall, prescription. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Could be anything. Yeah.
It's a car full of stuff that's mostly not mine. And some of it is mine. And I was not super excited when then they took my brother out of the car and brought him back to the patrol car and sat him in there and started grilling him,
Sat him inside the car.
sat him in the cop car. And I'm like, every time that happens when they're like, step out, I'm just like, what? Fuck, what do you want? What are you doing? And then they come back up to me and they go, he says, this is your vehicle. And I was like, it is mine. Yeah, it's mine. And they're like, well, we would like take a look around. Like you guys are suspicious for some reason. And I was like, oh, they said your brother won't give us permission. He says that you have to because it's yours. And I was like, oh, yeah, you don't have permission. He was right. And they were like, you want to do this the hard way? You want to do this the hard way? I'm like, I'm in a hurry. I just, I have some rights, maybe. I think I have some rights. I don't know. And they pull me out and they call a canine, and they bring this canine out, and it just they're like, "Hey, buddy," and he's like, "Yep," and they're like, "Yeah, he hit on your car, so now we can search the whole thing." And they're going like these two just dickhead Georgia cops are just going through the whole van, dude, going through all my stuff. They make me open the back lock, taking out, they want to take out my grandma's piano. I've got like these really, a 60s Gibson, my grandma's old piano. I had also got my great grandpa's 1939 Leedy drum kit out of my grandma's attic. So they're like, they want to put like a 19 or a 1929, you know what I mean? Like very antique drum kit on this. And I'm just like, dude, please be so. And there's like, well, I'm like, this, I know you don't like me, but please be careful. I really, really like this stuff. And they're kind of going in and out, searching, kind of getting back together, talking, going back in, searching, open the hood. They're going through like everything. And I'm just sitting there thinking if I know any lawyers in Georgia. And finally the cop comes up to me and he goes, "Where are the drugs?" And I was like, "There's no drugs." And he was like, "So you calling my dog a liar? You say my dog's a liar?" I was like, I didn't say that. I'm like, I don't even think a dog could lie because so furious, so mad at me. Brings the dog on. The dog sniffing around, scratching at stuff. Finally, after like 45 minutes and like six cops out there, he hands me my keys and just walks away, gets in his car and drives off. So mad. And I went directly to the next gas station, threw away all my shit. Sorry, that was a long story.
No, I loved it, man. Wow, that's incredible. Now, you didn't mention the drum kit in the beginning. Do you still have that drum kit as well, or is it you're just down to the piano now?
I have the drum kit. It's at the place where I just recorded the last solo record in Binghamton, New York. My friend has a studio up there, Hunter Davidson, and I'm tight on space here in New York City. He's not as tight on space up there. Plus, he has a lot of cool vintage gear anyway, so he very graciously is holding on to it and using it intermittently when he wants to. These really like old animal skin jazz tom toms and kick and stuff.
Going back to the trip, how long of a duration was it between leaving the car in Georgia and then picking up the piano in Louisiana? How long had that van been down there?
Maybe about half a month.
Oh wow, okay. Sizable.
Yeah. Or another way to say that is 2 weeks.
I like half a month better. Um, all right. And with going on the road and stuff, obviously you've seen a lot of this country and a lot of different things. Are there any other little trips or something that stand out to you at all? Maybe
Uh,
with the cops, maybe with
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know,
think of
fun
now
things you did.
not involve the cops. Because now I'm in cop mode. I'm just thinking of every time I ever got searched and hassled or detained at the Canadian border.
Ooh, hey, I feel like I saw you on an episode of Cops though.
I was the one guy with a shirt on.
There's only like one per season with a
The
shirt on.
pool and the one guy on cops with his shirt on. I did get detained at the Canadian border
Or
and
what? Or what
I
was the
customs agency. So every time I go through now, they're like, "McGee, you know you're flagged at the border." Because I was an early uh advocate of CBD, before they were selling it in grocery store sodas. I had like a lot of back pain, um, which I've since mitigated, but there was a while where I was on like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to deal with neck and back pain. And I wanted, but those drugs really hurt your stomach. And so I was trying to switch to something better, and I heard that it was an anti-inflammatory. So right when New York legalized CBD, before they legalized weed or anything, I bought some of that, and it was basically just this brown herby sludge in a syringe, not a needle, but like a wide tip syringe, and it didn't have any particular packaging on it anymore. And but I would take this around, and when I was in a little pain, I would like it tasted like kind of like Vegemite, but not as salty. Just it didn't taste good. And when we crossed the Canadian border, as they like to do, they pulled us to the side to search the van, which I was actually not worried about because when you're going through international border, you go through all your paranoias, you look through every pocket. If you don't find it and they do, you all you can be is impressed.
Yeah, I
You
never looked at it that way, but yeah, that's true.
you guys are really good at this.
You guys,
Um,
you guys really found something.
yeah, but I looked
You
it
guys should be
up.
cops. Yeah. Anyways.
Ontario, CBD is legal. New York State, it's legal. So I figure no harm, no foul. It's free,
Mhm.
legal, and it's non-psychoactive. So I figured it's probably fine.
And you're
And
using it with discretion, I'm assuming as well.
it looks weird, so I'm not making a big display of using it because it looks a little like, I mean, it's a syringe full of like tarry brown stuff. It looks
Looks normal.
so sketchy. But they search us, they go through everything, and they're like, pull his bag out, and they're like, "Who's this?" And I'm like, "That's mine." And they're like, "What is this?" Like they just found the whole fucking, you know what I mean? Also, what person that does what they think is heroin keeps it like that? Like, you know what I mean? Oh,
Yeah.
I've got a needle just loaded, and I just like carry it loaded.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I don't think any. I don't. No.
And I was like,
I
"Oh,
don't believe an intravenous drug user keeps it locked and loaded like that.
yeah, fucking little brown pouches. They got a method.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a whole charade with it.
it's a whole fucking charade.
Hmm.
No one's carrying a loaded needle. It's so stupid.
Right.
They're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, that's CBD. It's legal in New York. It's legal in Ontario." Like, and they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna test this." I'm like, test away, no problem." And they come back and they say, "Mr. McGee, this tested positive for THC." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, it might have like trace
1% or something. Yeah.
3%. I'm like, I guess it must have trace amounts in it, but it's not psychoactive. It's not illegal. And they're like, "Well, we don't really know that." So they detained me in their little facility there for a couple hours while they went back and forth. I could hear them arguing. The lady's like, he's just lying to you. Don't you? He's just gonna fucking lie to you." And the guy's like, "I don't know. I I think I know what he's talking about. I heard about this stuff before." And they finally come back and they're like, "Look, we're seizing this, and you have to sign this consent to seizure form, and the fine that you have to pay is $0, but you have to sign it." And I'm like, "Deal." I'm like, "Just to be done and out of here and not in jail, deal." And I signed it, but now I didn't realize that put some flag on me, and every single time I go to Canada now, they specifically pull me aside and be like, "You're flagged at the border." I'm like, "I know."
I've been
I'm like,
waiting for you, and I have CBD somewhere on me. Let's play the game.
"That was legal." I'm like, "You got to give me a break."
Have you done CBD since?
Um, no, I kind of, what I started doing instead? I started just stretching and
Did that
actually,
work?
yeah, yeah, like deep, straight back, deep breathing, like meditation actually helps a lot too. Just because I think partly just because of elongating the spine and deep breathing, um, stretching and exercising. That was, who knew? It's the worst thing when you find out that exercising and getting hydrated and getting good sleep like actually fixes your problem. It's a fucking horrible thing to realize.
Yeah, I'm still not buying into that propaganda. But anyways, um, now when was this fiasco of the CBD issue in Ontario?
I think I would have to put this around 2018 or 19.
So not too long ago.
Well, 6 years feels like a long time now.
Yeah, now that you're clean and off the junk. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm not carrying out syringes of black tar CBD.
Yeah. Now, the Nude Party, it started in 2012, right?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. 2013.
2013. So throughout this time, I mean, you guys were traveling all around, right?
Yeah, well that that first period would have been like putting out like the most low quality CD, um and playing local parties, and then making like the Hot Tub EP was like our first, it's the earliest thing that we allow to exist online. How about that?
But there's
Uh,
earlier stuff.
I don't think there is. And um there is no client list.
Right, sure. Just show me the papers, whatever. We'll get into that later on.
Quite interesting.
Can you get on the, because I know that, I mean, lawyers, truck, tow truck guys, that lady in Georgia. You obviously have somebody in the White House. Can you please get them on the horn and
I've got
let's talk about it?
I've got a guy in the Senate building.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're getting somewhere closer than I have anybody to anything.
Pennsylvania Avenue, but I could get you a tour of the senatorial office building.
But
My dad went to college in Washington, D.C. He went to GW, and he
George
said,
Washington University.
yeah, he was well, he's from Franklinton, Louisiana, really small town in Louisiana, and I think he went like at the bicentennial in like 1977, I guess that is, or just 1975, when he was in middle school. They took like a trip to DC for the bicentennial, and I think he was like, "Whoa, my God, Washington DC, this place." And later he applied to go to school there, and he went to college there, which I think was surprising for the people in his family. Like, why would you want to go up there? But I only bring it up because he had a friend that got very drunk. I think got naked. The naked part I'm not positive about, but let's say he got naked
Let's say
and he
it.
scaled the wall and sprinted across the White House lawn. And I guess whatever motion detectors go off, and goons just form out of the dark and picked him up, grabbed him, and took him in for like an 8 hour interrogation until they were satisfied that he wasn't a genuine threat. He was just a fucking idiot.
They probably called the dogs and said the dog noticed it as well, and then eventually just threw him the keys.
The dog's a liar. They're like,
I'm not calling the dog a liar. I don't know how dogs could lie.
fuck him.
And he got out though.
Yeah, they let up. I do think that there was things I think were had just become seemed to become more and more serious in terms of criminal offenses, because you ever heard that story about, is it Billy Joe Shaver? I think that it is, who shot a guy
In the hat.
in the hat, and it like skimmed his head at a
Hmm.
bar, Texas, right outside Waco, and like, they had a trial, and like I think Willie Nelson came as a character witness and everything. And like, I don't know what his punishment was, but I'm pretty sure it was like a year, 2 years of probation. They didn't lock him up. He shot a guy in the head who
In the
didn't die,
hat. In the hat.
in the hat and head,
They
who
had
didn't
skimmed it.
die. And he skimmed him. And he basically got off because for whatever reason back then it was more like, oh, like, you can do that. You shouldn't. You're not going to get any extra Christmas presents this year. Not good behavior.
No, you're not. You're not being a good boy with that. With those kind of actions.
But you can shoot someone slightly in the head a little bit now and then as a treat.
Yeah. Do you think that that hat ever got back into this man's wardrobe, or do you think that was just locked up as evidence? Like, you
Belongs
cannot no longer have this hat.
in a museum.
Now, you guys have done a lot of touring, you and the Nude Party. Now, in terms of playing shows in front of people, has there been any interactions with any people of note, either before or after or during a performance that really sticks out to you?
Like celebrities?
Celebrities or just Maybe local celebrities,
like prominent men.
prominent men, prominent stories. Yeah.
So has anything significant ever happened? Is that the question?
You know what? Let's do a grander. Yeah. Has anything significant ever happened between 2013 to 2025?
It seemed like at the time it had, but now I'm not sure.
Now, have you ever been in attendance at a show that something from not from playing, but being in the audience during a show that something significant has happened? You're like, whoa, look at that guy doing whatever that is. Maybe not even in the band, maybe just in the crowd.
I mean, I saw someone have a seizure at during Dark Side at Bonnaroo while I was that was horrific.
Yeah.
Um, it did, that does stick in my mind because you're so energetically sensitive when you're on a psychedelic like that. And like you like feel the mood of a crowd in this really strange sixth sense kind of way. Um, that feels really good. I mean, that's like at a Bonner. I think Bonner was the best festival I've ever been to. I'm not big on festivals, but
And
I
that's
re
in Nashville, correct?
it's in um no, not Nashville. Oh, what's some other man somewhere in Tennessee. No, it's not in the city. It's sort of like
Outside.
out in the country.
Mhm.
Whatever. But yeah, I do remember that dude like having a really good time and just feeling like, wow, this is so awesome. We're all young and we're all having so much fun together. They were playing Bitches Brew uh over the PA, and had I had downloaded that like 100 best albums from Rolling Stone list. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Mhm.
gonna learn about music. And some of them I liked, but I was surprised at how many I was not impressed by. And not to be blasphemous, but just to be honest, Bitches Brew was one of those like I don't this is hard to fucking listen to. It just
Yeah.
seemed just it just seems like everyone's sort of tuning, you know what I mean, or goofing around or something. But being high on LSD at Bonner and then playing it over the PA, I suddenly was like, oh my God, I get it. Wow, actually get it. And I like wow, like turn into people like, dude, I gotta get this. Yeah, yeah. So
Have you kept that same feeling towards Bitches Brew when you're not on LSD, allegedly on LSD?
no, I don't get it again.
Okay. That was just a one and done. Did they play the whole album, by the way?
It was like a set changeover, so probably not. Probably
Hmm.
just some songs off it.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
what it felt like to get it, but I don't get it anymore again. But I could get it again.
If the situation was correct, do you think that if you took acid right now and then put on Bitches Brew, you'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm back where I was.
It was so much easier to do it when I was younger. I was so much more willing to just like jump into the ocean of it. You know what I mean? And then figure out how to swim. And I've become so much more like in the same way that I've become more stable and structured and like better in most ways. Um, I also am like more sensitive to something like that. Yeah, I guess that's part of it. Is like as you get older, you kind of like you form your little mental home a little more clearly. Um, but then you get attached to it also, and it's a scarier idea to think of like wiping out my personality for 8 hours now than it was then when I was more of a already in like a living identity crisis. It was like not that different, you know.
Right. When did uh when did it become apparent that you weren't dealing with this frustration anymore? When did that kind of ease up for you?
You mean when like the early 20s identity crisis like fades into like a stable personality?
Yes, in terms of you, yeah, forming yourself, I guess.
At least a stable enough self that it feels reliable
Hmm.
and not as self-conscious. Not that everyone has the same experience, but I used to be far more self-conscious about the way I was being perceived. You know what I mean? And needing like needing to curtail it and like make sure that I was getting the reactions I was hoping for, and if not getting them, feeling anxious about that. I don't worry about that really anymore. I think it's sort of, I don't know. I guess if you're sort of following the healthy stages of life, I think that starts to melt off of you in your early 20s. And hopefully by the middle and end of your 20s, it's mostly melted off and you feel
By your
like,
60s or something.
well, I don't know, it depends.
Were
Um,
these feelings amplified for you when you would get it in front of a crowd to perform? Was that accelerated, or what, did that put a pause on maybe more one-on-one situations?
I don't know how much they have to do with each other. I think it's sort of two separate bags. I mean, but I
Of
think,
CBD? Yeah.
yeah, I would say that now, um, I feel I feel pretty confident that like it's just it doesn't sound humble or anything. I feel pretty confident that I'm like a decent person and that like I have good intentions and that like I'm generally polite and like generally likable. You know what I mean? Which like are not assumptions that I believed when I was younger.
Mm.
I would think more, but so that's why I feel like I've grown, you know? And because of that, I don't worry about it so much. So I don't worry so much about getting on a stage and just talking and telling a little joke or telling a little story and doing a song because I feel like if I'm comfortable, people will like me. But I didn't always feel that way.
Do you feel like this comfortability that is surrounding you now has bled into the music that you've been making as of whenever this those different feelings subsided?
Yeah, probably there's it's a little more relaxed now and a little probably a little more vulnerable and a little less angsty generally. I think the early Nude Party stuff had a lot more angst to it as I was like trying to figure out if I was a Marxist or a libertarian.
Going back to the Nude Party, um, you guys spent a lot of time opening up for a lot of different bands early on, right? You guys really went on a lot of different tours with a lot of different groups, correct?
Yeah, some groups. Yep.
Some groups, some guys, some gals. Um, do you remember the first tour that an established band took you on to open up?
Um, the earliest days would have been playing basement parties and like house parties, things like that in Boone in college. Then it would have been doing sort of DIY tours, which would involve like a lot of. There was this Facebook group back then called USA Tour Help 2015 or something like that. And it was just everyone in DIY bands in America at that time, all in this gigantic Facebook group, being like, anyone can help me put a show together for my band, The Nude Party, in Ann Arbor on February 10th. And people would like tag, be like, oh, this like the fireworks team is a good place to do it. And like tag, you know what I mean? So it was this like funny DIY thing, which is how the early DIY tours happened. I think it'd be harder to do today without that resource. And that would mean show trades oftentimes. So it'd be like, oh, if you guys will put on a show for us in Richmond and you guys headline and we'll play second, then when you come to Boone, we'll book a show. You can play second and we'll headline and we'll, you know what I mean? Um,
That's
So
fair. That's fair.
we did that a few times, and I think the first time that anyone ever asked us to go on a tour that was booked by a booking agent at like clubs that had like employees that charged covers and like people that bought tickets. I think we was the Growlers when they were touring Chinese Fountain
Wow.
took us on the Florida leg of their Chinese Fountain tour. And I remember going to my professor. I saw him recently actually, and he brought it up. I thought it was funny, but I remember going to my professor and being like, "Hey, I've got this big opportunity to open for these guys. It was the Growlers, Broncho, and us, and you know, I'll do all my assignments during that time, but it's like a week. Like, can I get excused absences?" And he said, "No, no, you missed three classes, you fail." And he did kind of apologize. I don't know if he apologized, but
Wait, so did you just drop the class, or what? How did you deal with this
he did.
situation
I dropped it and I had to retake it.
with the
Yeah,
same guy?
yeah, and I like him. He's my friend.
That's a dick move.
It was kind of a dick move, and I think he knows it was. But I think also we were a little baby band, and it was like you can't just go. You know what I mean? You're in college, like you're in my class. You gotta be here. This you gotta read the syllabus, bud. And
Was it
I
so? Was it? Yeah, yeah. Was right, let's get into this though, just a little bit deeper. Now, was it early enough in the semester that you could have dropped? You could drop the class and it wouldn't be an issue.
I don't think so. I think it was probably around the middle. It was probably around the middle, but I did fail it, and I had to retake it. There was my audio production. Um, but I liked him the most, even that notwithstanding that I did have to drop his class. I really liked him the most because he cared the most about his subject, and it was such a practical, hands-on thing, and he was hard, but he made me learn. Oh, look, I put this fucking cable in here. I ran this thing to my little Focusrite preamp here. You know what I mean? He taught me the basics of audio engineering and how to wrap a cable and audio editing, like so many things that have been so useful to me, and I'm so glad that I know that he was still my favorite professor, and I forgive him.
Where did you catch him recently?
He came to our show in Asheville. We hung out, we had some beers, we talked for a while. It's great. Actually, I just texted him last week and I said, I got an audio production quandary. And yeah, he pointed out some tools to help me fix it.
In 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 payment, did you pay him in CBD, or does he not get down with that kind of stuff?
I just gave him a nondescript syringe full of brown tar and just said, you can figure out what it is.
You go to Canada. Go ahead. They'll tell you what it is. What did you go to school for, to college for initially?
I think I just went to start a band. I was like in high school obsessed with The Doors, and I would watch that movie, that documentary that I think Johnny Depp narrates it, When You're Strange. I watched it like it was like a blueprint for what to do. Not the whole time, mostly the beginning part, but I yeah, he this the it became such like an important myth to me that like Jim moved to Los Angeles, went to film school at UCLA, and then ran into Raymond Zarek on Venice Beach, and like they started a band. And I think that was kind of the outline of what I planned to do. But I only had in-state tuition available in North Carolina and no money really. So I had to take, in-state tuition plus loans. You want to keep costs down. I only applied to one school. I applied to App State because the guy that I used to buy weed from when I worked in a kitchen in high school was like, "Oh, dude, Boone's cool," and I was like,
And if anybody knows where it's cool, is the dude that you get weed from.
"Yeah," I'm like your offhand recommendation, like I'm pretty much just gonna revolve my life around that.
Yeah.
My man, Tosh.
Tosh was his name.
Yes.
That's okay. Have you seen him? Have you gotten a beer with him since then or anything?
No, not
Hmm.
since I was 15, 16.
Well, maybe he listens and shout out to Tosh if you do. Very cool.
I hope he's well. It's been a long time. I really, yeah, I hope he's good. He lived in Salt Lake City at the time.
It's circling right back around.
Damn, Salt Lake Valley.
So you went to college with the intent of getting into a band or starting a group.
Yes. I also wanted to. I never had any thinking that I would go into a genuine trade or field. I never really thought that. I I started studying journalism. I like went in my first major. I didn't even study it. I just declared the major of journalism at the beginning. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do poli sci instead. And then I was like, oh no, I should do physics. I didn't care. I really more wanted to just start a band, and I felt like I was a songwriter. But I thought while I was there, I could take some interesting courses and learn about interesting things. So there was some amount that I was like, oh, like if you study journalism and then go into music, like you have some, that means you have like a worldly perspective, maybe. It's the way a 17-year-old thinks, you
In
know?
hindsight, are you completely wrong?
I don't know how much a lot of journalists know what's happening in the world either.
Mm. So
They
you're
know
really holding a mirror up to society, essentially.
looking at myself in the corner of this screen.
You're really using your time here correctly. I mean, this is.
At myself this entire time.
Did you end up finishing up college,
I
or
did.
what
Yep.
did you end up leaving with?
At some point I thought I wanted to be a screenwriter. So I took like some acting classes and a script writing class. And though, and then we didn't have a degree like that at App State. We had electronic media and broadcasting, which was like radio and television production. So that's, I mean, it's like you couldn't really hardly think of a much more antiquated thing to have gone into. I mean, some of it is relevant, like video production and audio production are relevant. Although I had entire classes on, FM broadcast law that now I know. And like when I go into radio stations to do like interviews or whatever, they're like, so the rules, and I'm like, I know. No calls to action, no curse words. You can't name the prices of the competitors. Um,
And then you go,
got some
this
work.
is pirate radio, so I'll do whatever I want. What's up, KEXP?
Exactly. Fuck. Fuck.
The Nude Party. Fuck.
Our records are $25. Come buy one. Fuck you.
We're way better than competitors. We are the best.
Yeah. Our competitors by name suck.
And you know what? I want everybody to come down to the show tonight and start flipping over cars.
We did KXP one time. We didn't get Cheryl. It was a different interviewer. I was so nervous because one, KXP is kind of a big deal for me in my mind. Like I've seen you watch those sessions and stuff, and like they hold a legendary place. A lot of people film and put out live video sessions, but like KXP is like it's kind of the it's the top dog.
Creme de la creme, if you will.
I will. And but you don't realize in that room how many it's like you kind of sit around the edges of here's the room. You sit
Mhm.
around stand around the edges of the room which have those cool walls with the lights, and then the center is full of camera ops, and they're taking like maybe like one on your hands, one on your face. And so they're kind of like all over. And I was more nervous than I was nervous. And so during the interview, like I got nervous and I was kind of cursing. You know what I mean? Like when you get nervous, you start saying like or well, like oh fuck. Just word shit plus cursing. And I got flustered because I was like, oh fuck, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say, I don't mean to curse and shit.
Oh
Sorry.
shit, fuck, I'm sorry.
And I'm like, it's okay because we can edit and stuff, right? Like, and they're like, no, this is so you can still watch it. You can watch it now. None of it was edited. It's just me being fucking nervous, cursing.
Will you do another one?
They have not asked. I would love to. Sure.
Is there a KEXP performance that stands out to you?
I haven't watched one in a while. I'm thinking of the ones the first one that comes to mind is the King Gizzard one. I mean, I've watched a lot of them. Um, I think the first one that comes to mind is the King Gizzard one. And I remember thinking, oh, he sings the melody while he plays it. Which I never realized he did recording, but then you see it and it's like gato, gago, garado, garado. And I'm like, oh, that's like the thing. He sings and plays the same melody. I didn't realize that before.
You got a new album out, freshly out, not even a month out, I think,
Not a month. Not a month.
because it came out on June 12th, I believe, right?
Right.
And we're not at the 12th yet. Does it feel brand new? It's brand spanking new to you still?
It feels new, but it doesn't feel brand spanking new.
Mm, I understand.
Yeah. Although I'm leaving tomorrow morning to fly to LA to do a tour with the Future Birds. We're doing a California tour together starting tomorrow. So I am excited and I did really want to go out and do some shows and spread the good word, spread the gospel of The Last Cowboy a little bit. It'll be the first tour that I've ever done where I'm playing by myself.
Oh, it's
I did,
just it's gonna be you solo.
yeah, I did a few shows at the beginning of last month, like Boston, New York, and Philly with this guy J. Roddy Walston. I was opening by myself. So I've done it a little, but this is the first time like really, flying out on the road, carrying the merch, and just doing everything by myself. Which I've toured a lot, but it's always been with, you know,
7 dudes, 8 dudes.
pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
How long had these songs been in orbit before they were finally released?
I think some of them I wrote in during the making of the record, and some of them were like 10 years old, but
Wow.
reworked. Like I was going through really old voice memos. I was trying to find the voice memo that I first wrote Chevrolet Van, and I did find it. It was like 2015. And right next to it, that same day was Country Boy. I'm a country boy. And that one changed a little bit, but that one became Country Brat. Um, which if you think about it, it makes sense. They're both just A, D, and E. Um, but yeah, Chevrolet Van and Country Brat were written in the same day. I recently realized.
Wow. So pretty quick together, piecing these things together.
Jacob, back then I was a wellspring of ideas, but I didn't necessarily believe that they were all good. But now I listen to some of the old ones and I'm like, I think I didn't really know what I was doing, so I felt like, well, this doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound like it. But now I hear it, I'm like, that was a cool idea. Why didn't I go with that? But that's also why I'm glad that I have a lot of voice memos on my phone. I have all the voice memos and little demos that I've recorded um, all the way back to 2014,
That's a
which is
long, long time.
yeah, it's sometimes if I'm on a long drive or something, I'll sort of just scroll back to some random period, like 2016 October, or I'll just scroll back to some time and just listen to whatever ideas I was putting down, and I won't remember it, but then I'll like kind of hum along, and I'll find that I hum the exact same melody that I did then, just like out of intuition. I'll be like, oh, ba, 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 and I'm like, oh, whoa, that's the same thing. So I feel like yeah, I feel like I already have definitely enough material to shape up and do another record tomorrow if I had the resources. But
Well, you are in the music room.
I have the music room. Yeah. I only have these two mics though. I have the SM7 and the 57 and like one, preamp, like a digital piano over here and like a MIDI controller. Like it's very bare bones. It's very I could do an overdub or I could do a demo. Um I don't think I could make a record in here, but maybe I could make the bones of one and fill it out later.
So I appreciate you going outside to kind of wrap things up here on this podcast.
Hot outside.
Pretty
That
warm, right? It's pretty warm.
it's 80 fucking degrees.
So what I is this only the fourth um show you're going to be playing in Los Angeles coming up here?
Solo?
Yeah.
No, I done a few. I did like the release show in New York, which was sick. We had like full band, and then I had all the features from the record, which was like 8 guest features. Had them all come up and do their parts that they do on the record, and it didn't take forever. Like it actually like was smooth. That was awesome. And then I done some solo ones and some band ones. We done like Kingston. I did Woodstock, and I'm not going in totally blind to it, but it's you know just got to think of like the best way to keep it entertaining for me and for everybody.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know,
that's a big, big, big swing going from 8, 7 other musicians
yeah.
to one.
Well, when you have a whole band, and especially if you're headlining and people already know your music, you don't have to talk a ton. Um, you can sometimes just musically just transition and just sort of roll through the set, and then when you feel like saying something, you can. But I think that if people can't rely on any nostalgia or anything because you haven't heard it before or they only just heard it, and you don't have a band of other players, it's just you. Um, I think the MO changes. You got to change tactic a little bit to keep it entertaining for yourself and everybody. You got to give a little context. If you can't give someone the recognition of being like, "Oh yeah, they're doing this song. I know this one." I think it's helpful at a live show to fill it in with some kind of context or like a relevant little tale or joke. But I try to really avoid certain cliches like once upon a time or forever after or this song is about. Don't say this song is about. You can just be like, man, you know, oh now I'm trying to fucking ad lib and I'm trying to make a song. But you could just be like, oh, I used to live up in the country. I had a cat and I had, you know,
So
some
this song's about just
bust through
uh,
the screen door and eat all the cigarettes out of the tray. And then you can just like, and people are like, what does that have to do with anything? But then you start the song and they're sort of curious what the fuck that has to do with what you're about to play. And that's a decent way to hook it, I think.
I think so too. Are you how are you feeling right now? Because how long is this tour that you're going on starting tomorrow at the time of this recording?
2 weeks in California, and then flying straight at the end of that, dropping the car at LAX and flying to Denver and starting a 3 week nude party tour.
Whoa. So the ball is gonna be rolling after this.
Yeah, I think I'm gone 5 or 6 weeks, somewhere between 5 and 6 weeks, starting tomorrow morning.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Are you excited for both of these? Because that's really gonna be a change up at the end of this little run that you have, and then going back to the nude party, right?
I'm sure I'll be glad, you know. Um, I'm sure I'll be glad. I'm excited to play alone and to hang out with the Future Birds because I really like those guys. We have a really good time together.
One more time with that name, Future Bros,
Future Birds.
Future Birds.
My New York accent is so thick. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
hard.
it's kind of hard.
Sullivan County. Um, but I'm excited to be in California. It's like both these tours are. I mean, we're playing like Venice and like you know Mill Valley, South Lake Tahoe, like NorCal, wine country, SoCal, and then flying, which I'm super excited just to be in California, driving around, playing 30-minute sets, telling some jokes, having fun, um, meeting people, selling some t-shirts, and maybe like drinking like 1 or 2 beers.
One or two beers full for the whole tour.
Well, I would normally drink a couple extra beers, but I have to drive the whole tour, so I'm gonna be taking it pretty easy. Um, but then to fly straight over to Denver, and we're going to like nude party. We're doing Southern Colorado. We're doing Big Sky, Montana. We're going to like Wyoming. We're going to the Tetons. So I'm there's a little trepidation about like I just moved into this place and I just set up my slurm factory, and I do want to enjoy it, but I've never been to Montana. I don't know. It's summertime. I get to go drive around the West and be in like the Tetons and Big Sky and Denver and Carbondale and
Yeah, the Grand Tetons. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be cool, man. I'm a little trepidatious just today because you don't want to forget anything and not have it with you for 6 weeks. But
Yeah. Yeah. Did you forget anything?
I haven't left yet. I don't know. I'm trying not. I make a lot of lists.
All right. Well, Patton, I really appreciate you coming on here and spending your last hours before your flight here. Are you flying out of LaGuardia or JFK or?
Really good question. LaGuardia. That's my. I live in Queens.
Okay,
Fly out of LGA.
LGA. Okay. All right. Patton, I appreciate you coming on here, sir. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for having me, Jake. Nice to meet you, pal.
Yeah, very good to meet you. But before I let you go, you got some fun stuff out and coming up, and we gotta go over that with the promo. So, Last Cowboy on the Prairie is out now. It's streaming everywhere, right? Wherever people get their music, that's where they can find you.
Yep.
Now, you're gonna have copies of this album on tour.
Yep.
Ooh, nice vinyl. Yes.
Yep. I just packed my suitcases. I got the one of those hand weights where you can carry up to 50 pounds with a checked bag on Southwest. They're both at 49 and a half.
Are you not nervous about them roughing up the bag? I'm not
Rough.
saying, just like throwing it in.
Um, no, because I know they're gonna do that. It's a
So,
given.
so you
Pack.
already know.
Yeah. Well, it's like worrying. Like, what if it rains in Seattle? It's gonna. They're gonna fucking toss that shit. I've seen them put the guitars on. You know what I mean? They just grab it by the fragile sticker and toss it.
But you said that's fine. You can do whatever you want because you're prepared for it.
I can't stop the rain.
Mhm. Now, again, California on this solo tour, California, um, a little bit of Nevada as well. I'm assuming because you got Lake Tahoe in there.
The California side, South Lake.
Oh, okay.
It's all California.
And that begins. Where are you? Do you have a show on Friday? This coming Friday?
Yes,
Where's that gonna be?
I don't remember right now, but maybe it's in Venice.
Do you want-
Maybe
Okay, well this is coming out on Friday, so we can just send people over there. If
today.
we Yeah, today. So this
I think
the
it's
if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, you might be in Venice.
yeah,
Okay.
in Venice. Go to the Venice West.
Venice West. Okay.
Look up at the marquee and see if it says Future Birds and Patton Magee, and if it does, you go in there and you say hello. Yes, you do.
Now, if you're listening to this a little bit after this Venice West show, all other shows you posted about them, I believe, on Instagram, right?
Yes, and yes,
Now that's the best place to stay up to date with news and shows and all this other good stuff that you got going on, correct? Both with the Nude Party and with your solo stuff.
yeah. New solo record of mine that just came out. Nude Party record coming during the next year. Yeah, yeah,
Well, it's at Patton Magee on Instagram, correct?
correct.
Right on. And people can go if they can't catch you at the shows, this tour, they can also can they order the vinyl through the Bandcamp? Is that the best place?
Yeah, that works.
PattonMagee.bandcamp.com. Now, did you work with a label for this, or is it self put out? You just put it out yourself.
The physical part I worked with Nudie Records
Okay,
out of Half Moon Bay, California.
right on. Are you going to be swinging by there on your travels?
I would like to. I wish I could, but they're on vacation that week, so I won't see them.
They're in New
But
York. You're in California, right?
yeah, yeah, I know. They're
So
doing a New York,
next,
and I'm gonna miss it because I'll be in Montana. I've never met them. I talk to them all the time. I like them. We have nice conversations. We have nice things to say about each other, but we have yet to meet. It's a very friendly business relationship.
um, yeah, all this will be linked below, whatever you're listening to this on, including the Instagram for the Nude Party at the Nude Party on Instagram. The merch can be found at hellomerch.com. And the nudeparty.com is the best place to score some tickets for your next upcoming gigs, starting in Colorado, right?
Colorado, Colorado, Montana, and Wyoming.
Colorado, Montana, Wyoming. If you live in any of those states, or if you missed the Venice West show, you have to make up for it and come to one of those shows.
Yeah, it's just an easy like 23-hour drive.
Not bad. I like how you didn't even think about them flying. You got it. You got to drive.
That's so true. You could fly.
But no, but not this time. Next time, but not this time. I understand. Patton, I appreciate you coming on here. Do we have anything else to plug before I let you go?
If you've made it to this point, if you, what are we at? A minute 80? Could it be the 80th minute? 60th
Mm,
minute?
yeah, we'll say a minute.
About if you've made it to the 80th minute, um, just DM me and say I made it to the 80th minute, and I will send you a postcard because I'll be so impressed that you were willing to listen to me talk for that long.
People love you, dude. Um, and you know what else they'll love if they haven't heard it? The new album, which is once again Last Cowboy on the Prairie, and which is out now. And go pick it up in person. And if you come to any of the shows, please buy some merch.
Got
Um,
some, we got the country brat. I
Brad,
tell her it's gonna take over.
that's
La-
it.
Last year was Brat Summer. Earlier this year was Midwest Princess. Now it's Country Brat July. You know, we're blowing off fingers.
You
We're
heard it here first. Did you make it out of the fourth with all the fingers?
I DJ'd a wedding on the 4th of July. That's my other job.
You could lose a finger doing that as well.
You could. You could. Yeah, there's spinning parts. No, I
Yeah.
was fucking Michael Jackson and ABBA and Bee Gees. Give me a man after midnight and Outcast and all that kind of stuff.
Can you slip some of your stuff in there as well?
I've it's crossed my vision. I not at a wedding, but I have this other electro pop dance thing that I've been working on, like low key in the shadows with my friend, and the one that actually sold me that Gibson guitar in Jacksonville. And we have some pretty poppy bangers. I'd put it somewhere around like the MGMT style. And I have been DJing at like clubs or whatever, and when I get to a part of the set where I'm going kind of electro, or you go like, Gary Newman, Cars, and then you do maybe like, MGMT or like kind of like indie sleaze kind of stuff. I have like flipped one of ours in, but the whole time I'm so nervous because I'm just like I'm like, does anyone like this? Does anyone think this is good? And in my mind, people are gonna be like, oh, like this is awesome. This is so good. And they're gonna come up and be like, what is this? And be like, it's not even out. But then like people come up and they're like, have any Drake? I'm like, you couldn't have had a worse time to ask me that. Like, for reasons you don't know, I find that so offensive. Also, fuck Drake. Sucks. All right, man.
All
Good
right.
to see ya.
That that was a great way to cap it off. Thank you again. I'm gonna stop recording this. I'll talk to you in a minute, okay?
See you, pal.